And we are live, Bobby. How you doing, man?
Doing good. How are you, buddy?
I'm okay. No, you were expecting me to say I was amazing and fantastic, didn't you?
Yeah, you're supposed to be amazing and fantastic, man. I don't know if I can do a show with you if you're anything other than.
I'm amazing and fantastic. How about that?
That's good. That's good.
While we're waiting on some people to get in here into the stream here, what'd you do for the 4th?
Grilled, hung out in the backyard, and that's pretty much it. What about you?
Yeah, we had a couple of people over. I don't know. I told the story about my brother-in-law breaking his back. On the day before, on July 3rd is when that happened, I think.
Okay, I've totally missed this.
Okay,
totally behind.
Yeah. Anyway, so he was in the hospital, and so his wife and their kids came over, and my mother-in-law came over, and we cooked out and shot fireworks. But it wasn't like we didn't have like any kind of big celebration because of what happened with him. But anyway, we still had a good time, I guess, considering the circumstances. Let's see who's in the chat here. We got sports expert Clemson Carson, TikTok Chess Hall, LSU Tiger Chick, Slim Shady Canes in the house. LSU Tiger Chick says, "How is he?" Well, it's kind of weird. I don't want to spend a whole lot of time on this because I spent a lot of time on it on my live stream on Friday night, the day that it happened. He's home now, but they still might have to do surgery. They didn't do surgery because they said that the surgery might cause more damage than the actual injury, because he's only 30 years old, and they'd have to put 3 rods in his back.
Oh God! So
they're still waiting. Like he's just laid up in his bed in his house, probably with a bunch of pain pills right now. I don't know. I know he's in a lot of pain though. So anyway, hey, we're gonna do something different tonight. We're gonna talk about we're gonna piggyback off what I've talked about yesterday in my video about the multiple different scenarios for a college football season this year, and then also I'm gonna go ahead and drop a link in the chat here for anybody who wants to join the StreamYard, whether it's on video or just on just audio only. You don't have to be on video if you don't want. It's easy. You just click the link, the StreamYard link, and it'll prompt you what to do. I mean, if you've used it before, you know how it works, but it's not hard. Anybody can do it. So I'm going to go ahead and do that now. And if nobody comes in, that's fine too. I'm just going to give people the option to.
Now, when you said we were going to do the show a little different, I was like, so I should have wore pants.
Yes, you should always wear pants on the show. I mean, if you decide not to, just don't stand up, please.
Just don't stand up. Moon everybody. Let's see who else got in here. The QC's in here. Richard Williams.
Yep.
Prince, 6'1".
Hey, Prince, what's up, buddy?
Oh, Prince, our buddy.
Yeah. So while we're waiting to see if anybody pops in here, let's go ahead. So did you watch that video that I posted yesterday?
I actually watched every flipping bit of it, and I'm behind. I'm behind on everything that's going on. You brought me up to speed, and I'll share my opinions in just a second. But one of the options that you shared that is actually being considered, I'm in the second story of my house. I almost jumped out the window because I was like, you've got to be flipping kidding me. But anyway, go ahead.
Well, there's 5 scenarios. I went through 2 or 3 in that video. Here's the only 5 scenarios that's going to happen. Number 1, there's no season at all. And there's no season in the spring. 2020 is canceled, right? Which would be ironic considering everything gets canceled in 2020. But that's a different story. All right, so canceled season would be number 1. Number 2 would be the ultimate best case scenario, which is every team plays 12 games. They go on the road and play their games. They play their games at home, and even if there's fans there or not, you have 12-game full season and a playoff season. Hold on, Ballard. I'll be with you in a second. I see Ballard's joining the stream for us. The third scenario would be a shortened season, which means instead of starting in September, they start in October, and they only play either 8 games or 9 games, like the conference games, and maybe we get to play South Carolina or something because they're in our state, something along those lines. But anyway, not a 12-game season, a shortened version of a season. What was that, 3?
Yeah, something like that. Yeah.
Was that C?
Yeah.
The next one would be a split season. Now, this is the one I don't like the most. Well, I mean, obviously I don't like the one where you don't get to play at all the most. The split season would be half of the season's played in the fall, and the other half's played early of next year. The spring, which they call would be January and February, which obviously is not spring. But anyway, that would be and then the fifth scenario would be the entire season's played in the spring, and we just forego the fall altogether. So I'm going to add these two guys on the stream, and we can get everybody's opinion here. I got Ballard Sports Media and TikTok.
Hey there, Bobby Durkins and Pigskin Pete. How you guys doing?
What's up,
What
fellas?
is up, guys?
What's up?
Not much.
So did you guys hear what I just said?
Yeah.
Okay.
About the college football scenarios?
Yes.
Yeah. I got my thoughts on those.
Go ahead. You could start it off then.
Yeah, I'm going to be honest. A couple months ago, I was saying in like May or whatever, oh, it'll be gone. We'll get a season and stuff. But I honestly, I really don't know. And I only say that because I honestly don't think they'll go through with it. But, you know, I've heard some scenarios like a possible shortened season and play it in the spring of 2021. You know, I don't know if you guys have heard much about that or what your thoughts are on that.
Here's the thing, man. I don't like the scenario of the spring, whether it's a split season or a season in 2021 at all.
Right.
Because half of the players are going to sit out. Why would they play? I won't say half of the players, but probably a half or more of the players that are eligible for the draft the next year will sit out because the combine's in February and the draft is in April. And for all these people, I got a lot of messages on that video I made yesterday. The NFL is not moving the draft and the combine to suit the college football season because they don't care about the college football season. They care about getting the players.
They're worried about the NFL season. I was going to say that too, because if you think about it, if they started, let's say they started in like late February, early March, like they would with like a baseball season. If you were to do it normally like a 12-game season, you're finishing up around June or July. And that kind of goes into the draft for all these juniors and seniors. Look at guys like Lawrence or Fields or whoever. They're still playing football by the time draft rolls around, so they're not ready to go yet. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Right. Exactly. Why would Trevor Lawrence play in February of 2021 when he's planning on being possibly the first overall pick in the draft? It wouldn't make any sense.
Yeah, it wouldn't. So I think if either we get football in the fall or we don't, and we wait until I guess the 2021 season. You know what I mean? And we just don't have a 2020 season.
Right. What do you think about a short season or a split season, Bobby?
Makes me want to throw up. I mean, like
I feel the same way.
Yeah, like your video said, and it's good to have you on here. By the way, I don't know if I said that. This is awesome. It's the first time for us doing this, or at least that I've never done this. But I'm glad to have y'all on, and it's good to talk to you. It's just past sending messages to each other. But just to answer it, man, the entire time I was listening to your video, Pete, I was like, are you flipping kidding me? Splitting up the season. I mean, if it's between a shortened season or no season at all, obviously I know what we're going to take. I know the concerns with the ACC schedule, blah, blah, blah. True. But the split season, I will personally drive to Clemson, South Carolina, and make sure those guys don't play in the spring. Why? Because I care about their careers. If their like you said, if their coaches care for them, and they do, they're going to tell them, don't play. If anybody who has half a brain is around them and gives a rat's rear end about them, they'll tell them, don't play. I don't know, man. I don't know. I don't think that scenario will play out. And then delaying the season into October. Great point you made on your video. By the way, if y'all haven't watched that video, go check it out. I mean, finish watching this, then go watch the video. But it was fantastic what you laid out, Pete, because the truth is, What is delaying the season by a month? What is that going to do? You're playing God. You have absolutely no idea what is going to happen. None of us have no idea what was going to happen. And not to dive into some rabbit hole, because y'all know me, I can rant for 45 minutes without taking a breath. But with that said, we shut down the flipping nation, basically, for over a month. Did that fix anything? I don't know. It doesn't seem like it. So my point, getting off the whole COVID thing, because I know some people, it's like twisting their balls and they get all upset like you're calling their grandma ugly. But I am just saying here, us saying we're going to put off the football season until October, I don't think that's going to do anything. So if you give me football or no football at all, obviously you know what I'm going to take. But the idea of playing spring ball, no.
Yeah,
just call it. Just call it.
If they shorten the season or they do a split season or they do a spring ball or whatever the scenario is, I'm not going to like it, but I'm still going to watch it. I'm not sure. I'm not going to sit here and say I'm not going to watch it. I'm on a boycott or whatever. No. But it won't be the same. I mean, it'll be a very watered down version. I don't know what the hell's wrong with my microphone here, my lantern. Anyway, so at Chess Hall, we haven't heard from you. By the way, are you sitting on a riding lawnmower right now or something? What is that noise in the background?
Oh, let me turn my. I have my air on. Sorry, it's hot down here in Georgia.
Okay.
I don't think we're gonna have a college football season. I don't think we're gonna have it. I want to have it, but I'm worried about the players' safety and their health. If we had a shortened season, would I still watch it? Yes, all of us would. I'd rather have college football than no college football. We all know NFL is going to happen because it's the NFL.
Yeah,
and money. People are getting paid. They got a union and all this other kinds. All sports have a union. Like baseball is going to happen. We all know baseball is going to happen. Any professional sport is going to happen. I guarantee it. Because money's involved.
I don't see how you.
What, Ballard?
Okay. I was going to say I don't see how you let. Like, okay, if we have NFL, why would we not have college football? If we're not going to have college football, why would we have the NFL? You see what I'm saying? Like,
because in NFL,
if you're going to have pro sports,
because in NFL,
I was just going to say, if you're going to have pro sports, you might as well have college too. That's all I'm saying.
NFL, there. Well, in NFL, you have more to lose because their players are getting paid. College, no players getting paid whatsoever.
Right.
I don't see why that has anything to do with it.
I just think because NFL involves money and players getting paid.
It's a business, basically.
Pretty much, that's what I think.
But both of them are a business. Here's the difference. I would say pretty much every college player would let them play if you said, "Hey, we're going to play." They want to play. Now, the NFL, on the other hand, well, I do think they will have a full season. The NFL, but the players have much more power. They have a union and everything else. Just like what you're seeing with the basketball players and the baseball players right now. A lot of these guys are saying, "Hey, I'm not playing," and they're still going to pay these guys. Like they said, you could sit the season out if you don't feel comfortable playing because of COVID. We'll still pay you, and you won't lose your a year in your contract, so you'll still be back next year. They're not punishing these guys for it.
Mm-hmm.
Which is pretty amazing, honestly. But I mean, it's something that I think these leagues have to do. They can't chastise these players for not wanting to play in a compromised situation. But the college players, they don't have that power. Number one, and but I think that the college kids would play if they had a chance. Most of them, there'd be very few of them that sit out and say, "I don't feel safe."
Now, would you be? What if they went with all conference games instead of a full season? Would you be okay with that?
Well, no, I wouldn't. I mean, I'd watch it, but Clemson's in the ACC, so kiss their national championships hopes goodbye.
True.
But I said this yesterday.
The best
you would have, if they still had a playoff and they had conference only, you'd have 3 SEC teams and Ohio State. That's one scenario, or you'd have 4 SEC teams in there. And I know the SEC homers love to hear that and want to beat their chest about how great that would be. It wouldn't be great for the rest of the country to watch that.
They're not going to do that because Clemson's been in the playoffs they've been in every playoff that I think. So
no, they weren't in 2014.
Okay,
they've been in the past since 2015. Yeah.
Yeah, there's no way they're not going to do all conference and not let Clemson have a shot at it because that'd just be absolutely stupid, crazy.
So if they play conference only, what's the big win on Clemson's schedule? Is it going to be Florida State, Virginia? I mean,
Louisville.
Maybe. I don't know. Will Louisville even be ranked when we play them? Probably not.
Probably not.
No. So,
So Chess Hall, I got a question for you. What part of Georgia are you located in?
Calhoun, Georgia.
Calhoun, Georgia. I've been there. Been there.
Oh, really?
Yeah, buddy. Yeah, buddy. Long time ago.
Heck yeah, sir. Yeah, I've been here my whole life, man. What are you? Where are you from?
I'm actually from Seneca, right outside of Clemson. I live in the Greenville area now.
Oh, okay.
But I used to go up to Chattanooga, and we would stop and eat at the. I don't know if it's still there, but there was an IHOP right on the interstate.
Yeah, it's still there.
Yeah, we pull in and eat
there.
So.
That narrows it down, and IHOP right off the interstate.
Yeah, in Calhoun, Georgia, it does.
Oh, okay.
In Calhoun, Georgia, it does. It actually does.
I think there's an IHOP off of every exit in South Carolina.
Yeah, there is.
Yeah, and a Waffle House too.
Oh yeah, gotta love Waffle House, man.
Hey, hold up, got Slim Shady Canes in the queue here. Check Slim Shady out. He looks like he might be driving right now.
Negative, sir. I'm parked for the day. I'm just sitting here.
Welcome to the show.
Welcome to the show.
So where are you right now? I mean, you don't have to give you don't have to pin your GPS location or anything, but what part of the country are you in?
Pretty much East St. Louis.
Oh,
so a terrible place in America.
Yeah, St. Louis is pretty rough right now, isn't it?
When I go through it, it's not bad. I'll be driving through St. Louis about 5 a.m. So.
Oh, okay.
Protesters have like banker's hours.
They only go. It's 9 to 5, huh?
Pretty much. They're not out there going at 5 a.m. So I think I'll be all right.
I got you.
East St. Louis is no better. My mom and them lived up here for a year or two back in the 70s, and it was pretty bad back then.
So I know you live in Tennessee. Is that you live in East or West Tennessee? Because there is no north or south. I mean, it's flat as a pancake. It just goes east or west.
I'm about an hour north of Memphis.
All right. So how long of a drive is it from where your house or your hometown or where you live now to St. Louis?
I could do it in my truck in say 3.5 hours.
Oh, that's not bad. That's exactly how long it takes to get from my house to Clemson University campus. 3.5 hours on the dot.
17.5 hours from my house to Hard Rock Stadium.
Whoa. Yeah, how long would it take me to get to Miami? Of course, Hard Rock Stadium's not on campus. We know that, but it's still in Miami. I think
university is in Miami. If you want to get technical,
I think that I'm about 12 hours, maybe 11 hours from Miami, something like that. It only takes me 4 hours to get to Jacksonville, 6 hours to get to Orlando, and I guess Miami's about another 5 or 6 hours south of Orlando, right?
Yeah, give or take, yeah.
Yeah, okay, so it's about 11 hours, bro.
It's 8 hours and 48 minutes.
8 hours and 48 minutes to where?
From where you live to Hard Rock Stadium.
Oh, that's it?
That's it?
Oh, I might have to make a game there. I'll be the only one in the stands, though.
Not fired, sir.
Me and Slim will be the only ones in the stands.
I don't know how many games I'm gonna make in Miami. That's quite a bit of a drive for me.
I live about 2 hours and 3 minutes from Sanford Stadium for Georgia. So, I mean, I don't know. If we definitely have a college football season this year, there ain't gonna be no fans then. I guarantee that right now. I promise you that.
I mean, I don't know. I mean, some teams
bet money on that.
I wouldn't either. Some teams maybe there will be. Some teams there won't. But I don't know. What's your thoughts on this whole thing, Slim? As far as what I was talking about with the shortened season or a spring season or a split season and all this other different scenarios.
I have the same opinion I had 2 or 3 months ago. It's going to be a season pretty much as normal. You're still
excuse me. You're still saying a normal season.
Yeah. We had talked about it this morning with Lou. You've got several organizations health organizations saying there's pretty much no reason for kids not to be in school this fall. So I'm going to assume that extends to college as well, outside of the ones that just decide not to do it themselves, like Harvard and stuff like that.
Right, but who watches Harvard football anyway?
Right.
I mean, maybe 100 years ago.
Yeah, back when they were a powerhouse, right?
Yeah, them, Army, and Yale were winning all the national titles.
Right. I don't know, man. I still feel like even if people feel like that the threat is not as bad, and I know there's a lot of people out there, including you, that think that there's still some sort of a national perception. But if you're an athletic director at one of these colleges, like, you don't want to be the guy who allows some of your players to get COVID and die type thing. And it's like strictly working and basing these rules off of fear alone. That's a possibility.
And I do have a problem with that. And I don't necessarily think it's not bad. I just think for a 20-year-old, it's pretty much a fact at this point that it's not bad.
I'm not disagreeing with you. It would be different if you and I were making the rules, but we're not. So,
I'm not, unfortunately.
Yeah.
I have some good ideas, just nobody listens.
Yeah, well, welcome to my world.
My wife don't want to hear them.
Yeah, that's called marriage. Anyway, I got some other people in the chat here. We got Cody Lashney. He's like, what the hell is this here? He's, what's up, Cody?
You've answered, sir.
Cody says the death rate for coronavirus is actually really low. Yeah, I think we all know that. That hasn't really changed. LSU Tiger Chick says, "May there, Bobby." And I think we lost Bobby Durkins for some reason. I don't know if he bowed out on his own or what here. But I do see Hurricane Logan. We kicked Bobby off his own show. How about that?
Or Bobby.
Hold on. Let's see. I got Hurricane Logan here.
Hey, how you doing?
Hey, what's up, man?
What's up? I think his name was Big Paul or something like that. Invite me to the show and check you guys out. I love it. It's awesome.
Thank you. So you are obviously, I mean, with a name like Hurricane Logan, I doubt you're a Florida State fan or anything.
Absolutely.
All right. So I got two Hurricanes on here right now.
Yeah, a long-time Hurricane there was Slim. I've never seen him not in person, but let alone on video. So it's good to see you, Slim. I hope everything's going good with you, man.
Oh, I'm making it. Same as always.
Hey, Bobby Durkins, make sure are you okay, sir? Type 1 in the chat if you can hear me. Like it's like a hostage situation going on here. It's not like him to.
A Mike Gundy video coming out before you know it.
I don't know. He might have a Cricket wireless phone or something.
Ooh.
I don't know what's going on with that.
He's got that BBD internet connection.
I know, right? Hey, this is weird. We got two Miami Hurricanes fans, a Clemson fan, and a Georgia fan. That's just weird.
Hey, listen to this crazy. This will never happen, but this is a crazy scenario I saw somebody posted on Twitter today. So let's say you had like a bunch of teams, a bunch of Power 5 teams just bow out for the season and say, we're just not going to play football this year. But you had, let's say, 10 or 15 teams that were like, we still want to play football, and make it sort of like a tournament, like they do with the NCAA tournament. Not an elimination deal, but you play sort of a round robin thing. Can you imagine a scenario where you've got like Georgia and Miami and Clemson and Alabama and Ohio State and a bunch of Oklahoma or something like that, a bunch of big name teams, and they all play each other throughout the season, sort of like a round robin thing, or you could even just say, hey, we're going to hold all these neutral site, or we'll pick 4 stadiums out of these, and we'll all play them all at these 4 stadiums. That would be at least interesting.
Yeah, it'd be awesome.
Oh, yeah.
I don't think it'd be very interesting for Miami. I think they'd get obliterated.
Well,
yeah, that's what I was gonna say. You said Clemson and Georgia. I was like, oh hell yeah. And then you said Miami. I was like, wait, what?
All right, so I threw Miami in here because you guys are here. But all right, so let's take Miami off the table. But
I appreciate it, but me and Slim are not your average Miami fans. You know, we're not delusional. That's the meanest way to put it, but it's the truth.
Oh, I know. My Slim is, yeah, he's definitely a real fan. He's not a homer at all.
Well, I've been called a fake fan on plenty of those shows. Don't get it twisted.
I mean, you're a homer, but you're realistic. I can respect that.
Yeah, exactly.
But yeah, I mean, it would be cool to see. I mean, I can't imagine a season where like Clemson plays Georgia, Ohio State, Oklahoma, and Alabama all in the regular season. That would be cool, you know. Again, that's just a pipe dream. That's not going to happen. But it was posted on Twitter, and it was a bunch of different scenarios too, and they were all pretty cool. Somebody had too much time on their hands, I think. That's all that was.
Yeah, I think it'd definitely be cool, but I also think there'd be a lot less undefeated teams if that were the scenario.
Yeah, and then what you do, I guess, at the end of that round robin thing, you take the two teams with the best record and let them play for the national championship or something like that, you know?
Right.
Yeah.
Just set it up like March Madness. Do a tournament on who you got.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah, and that sounds so different, but I think that'd be so great for college football. Like, even if the college football playoffs were expanded with more teams, you know, I really, really think it'd be more exciting and more productive. And I definitely think that's something that they could figure out. But
and that was the other one I saw. Like, you have 4 regions, right? You take the northern region, the eastern region, the southern region, and the western region, and then you take, let's say you take I don't know how you split it up geographically, but let's say you take Georgia and Clemson would be in the eastern region. All right. Florida and whoever, Florida State or LSU and Alabama would be in the southern region. And you have Ohio and, let's say Michigan or something. You split it into regions, and then they all play each other throughout the season. And then at the end of it, you take the one with the best record out of each region, and then you have a 14 playoff out of that. Something like that.
That'd be crazy.
Yeah.
I'd love to play Clemson.
Well, you're going to see Clemson play. We're supposed to play next season, and we'll see how that works out. The first game of the year.
Yeah.
2021.
Is that Georgia?
Georgia.
Yeah.
Oh,
is that at Clemson or at Georgia? I'm not sure. I can't remember.
It's in Charlotte.
Wow. I didn't know that.
Yeah.
So I know Miami in 2022, we're playing on the road at Texas A&M, and then we're also playing against Clemson in 2022. And I think that's going to be a reality check, because being a Miami fan, we always play our worst games against the worst teams, but for some reason we can come out and play against better contenders a little better.
I mean, look at the bright. Talk to the Paul brings up a good point here. If they do cancel the season, at least South Carolina won't have any losses this year. So there is that.
Now, I hate to break it to Chess, and I'm sure if Lou sees this, he'll disagree. But Georgia's going to get absolutely clobbered by Clemson. I mean, I'm sorry, but that's just the way it's going to go.
I don't know about that, man.
I think the same thing, too, just because of how well-balanced Clemson is on all three sides of the field.
Georgia is the SEC version of Oklahoma, but a mirrored version. No offense, great defense.
Hey, Chess Hall, let me ask you, because I get Jamie Newman mixed up with another transfer quarterback. Did Jamie Newman, how many years of eligibility does he have left? Is he only there for 1 year or 2?
He's there for 1.
He's only there for 1. You sure about that?
I'm pretty sure.
All right. So the reason I'm asking that is because when Clemson plays Georgia in 2021 in the first game of the year, Trevor Lawrence is most likely going to be gone. Travis Etienne is going to be gone. So we do have a really good quarterback coming in this season, as a true freshman, DJ Uiagalelei, 5-star quarterback from California. But he's still going to be that's going to be his first start of a game, most likely. So they'll have a new quarterback. And then so will Georgia have a new quarterback. So that's the only reason I would say it. Now, if it were Trevor Lawrence and Travis Etienne on the field, I'd say they'd obliterate Georgia. But that's not going to be like that. Well,
I also don't think Dabo's going to have him come in with no game experience either.
Well, that's true.
True.
I mean, they're smart enough to win in lopsided games.
Yeah. And both rosters.
I don't know, man. I think Georgia and
both rosters will be loaded.
Go ahead, Pete.
I was going to say both rosters are going to be loaded. So it's not going to be it's not going to be a question of personnel. It's going to be a question of probably experience and obviously coaching. So.
Well, and I don't think it's going to be a question of personnel either. I think basically along the same lines Lou does, I have no faith in Kirby leaving the offense alone.
Yeah, exactly. Well, you got that, and then you see most SEC teams when they play ACC defenses, I wouldn't say it's the greatest, but when you look at a defense like Clemson, especially a defensive line, it's a very well-rounded, very talented line. And so when you match that up with Georgia's offense compared to Clemson's offense against Georgia's defense, I just think Clemson is going to outmatch Georgia 99% of every play.
I think that Georgia's going to have to change his offense with Jamie Newman this year, honestly. I think they're going to have to.
Well, they will. They will this year with Jamie Newman, but when Jamie Newman's not there anymore, who's the guy? Who's the guy that's going to,
probably Carson Beck, honestly.
Is he a dual threat guy like Newman?
I don't think he's a dual threat. I mean, he can get out of the pocket, but I don't think he's a dual threat.
Okay. Yeah.
One thing I do have a question about is just because I'm not really savvy with Clemson, I don't have any beef with the team. I like the team. They're not like Ohio State or Florida State or anything, but being a Hurricane fan, what happened with Trevor Lawrence this year compared to his freshman? I think it was his freshman year when he just broke out and everyone's like, "Holy smokes, who's this guy?" What was the difference? Because it seemed like from what I was reading with Clemson fans that their offense kind of slowed down, whether it was from a coordinator or QB level.
Well, here's the thing. That was what was being said all over TV. The only difference was that Trevor Lawrence threw a lot more interceptions in the first half of the season than people expected. Literally, it mirrored the past 5 seasons of their offense with Deshaun Watson and Trevor Lawrence and Kelly Bryant. They had more yards per game on average. They had more touchdowns on game per average. They had, I mean, every statistic was actually higher. But the one statistic that everyone paid attention to was the interceptions. So I just think that's what it was. He was throwing a lot more interceptions. He was being careless with the football, trying to make throws that he probably shouldn't make. And then he settled down sort of a little bit in the second half of the season and got back to, just playing within the system and not trying to be the hero on every play. But other than those interceptions, he played the same as he did the year before.
Okay, gotcha. Yeah, because I was hearing a lot more about, I think his name's Sam Howell, the North Carolina quarterback, who's, I think, a great quarterback. But, I wasn't hearing the big, Clemson breakout how it was the last, 2 seasons. So,
I mean, people forget that the year that Deshaun Watson came in runner-up to in the Heisman to Lamar Jackson, 2016, the year that they won the national championship, he had 16 interceptions in that season. 16. So he had more interceptions in that season than Trevor Lawrence had last season.
And I think the reason you heard more about Sam Howell is because nobody was expecting much of anything out of North Carolina.
Exactly.
And then what Mac Brown was able to do, with North Carolina during the off season and Sam Howell playing as well as he did, I think caught a lot of people by surprise, and that's why they were talking about Sam Howell like they were.
Yeah.
One thing I wanted to ask too, because I was curious, especially with Slim, because me and Slim have been so hard on the quarterback room in Miami for I don't know how long. How do you guys feel about De'Aaron King? With the offensive system coming in, I'm kind of excited, honestly.
See, Slim's not. I'm actually excited for you guys, but Slim's not sold on them. I'll let you.
I look at it like this. I'm close enough to Missouri. You're going to have to show me. It's like I said, what was it, last Friday, I think, or the Friday before, I don't remember. They've been the most talented team in the Coastal since they joined in 2004. And they've managed to only win it twice, only made it to the ACC championship once. You got to show me.
We'll see. I do agree with you because of the past, but I do think when you compare him to Malik Rozier, who was a baseball player, and Ja'Cory Harris and Stephen Morris, I think Brad Kyle was one of our best quarterbacks since Ken Dorsey. But I am anxious and excited. but I'm more so anxious to see it on the field and see how it translates.
Hey, look who's
That's
back.
a point of contention. That's a point of contention I have with Miami fans. Hey, glad to see you back, Bobby. And I've argued with Miami fans until I'm blue in the face about this. Ken Dorsey was an average quarterback on an outstanding team.
Yeah, all he had to do was make the throw.
Go back and look at he ended his career with like 57% completion at Miami. I mean, right about the same as Malik Rozier. He had an outstanding team around him that made him look better than he actually was. Now, he overexcelled in the leadership portion that you want out of a quarterback. He was great at that.
Bobby.
But he was decent.
Bobby, what happened? Did your Cricket phone die? What happened?
Let me tell you this. Cricket makes a fantastic product until it fails. And it's great. No, jumping in there, I agree with Derek King. Your assessment of him. You know, here's a guy who's been plagued with injury after injury, and I've talked about this 100 times. I got a really, really good friend of mine, fantastic ball player, incredible athlete, could not stay healthy, and he would tell you, man, I don't know what it is. I mean, he worked out, he ate healthy, he yada yada yada, could not stay healthy. I think that he's going to probably have some really bright moments with Miami, but to say that he's going to fix the problem, no. I'm with you. He'll have to show me, but I agree with you 100%.
Well, and I'm not going to say he's really been injury plagued. He's had one major injury,
right?
Because his freshman year, he wasn't even a quarterback. His freshman year, he was wide.
Here's what
and then he transferred. He swapped over to quarterback.
This guy had 2 seasons ago. This guy had 50 touchdowns. He had like 36 passing touchdowns and 14 rushing touchdowns and like almost 4,000 yards passing in that season. I realized I was at Houston, but that league that Houston's in is a pretty competitive league. And all things being equal, Miami's obviously got more talent on their roster than Houston did from top to bottom. I don't see any reason if the offensive coordinator there uses them correctly, why he can't have an amazing year.
Yeah, that, and then what you just said with Houston and the conference they're in, I don't think that conference honestly is any more competitive than the freaking ACC, especially with the division Miami's in. I really don't.
Well, there's a lot of parity in that league, the same way that there is in the ACC. You know, outside of Clemson, right? Yeah.
And I'm not saying that he can't do good or that he won't do good. I'm not saying that at all, but just the track record that they have had, and I have my own questions about Rhett Lashley. A lot of Miami fans are focusing on what he did last year at SMU, but there's a reason he was fired from Auburn, and there's a reason he was fired from UConn. You have to look at the good, yes, and the bad.
Yeah, and I think that's one of the biggest problems with Miami fans is when we sit there and make changes, even if it was Dan Enos, like everyone was hyped because he came from Alabama, but nobody knew who he was. And it's the same thing with Rhett. Rhett has great statistics from where he came from, but when you dig deeper into his career and how his coaching career has been, you know, you can't just sit there and expect to get a guy, whether it be a key player at a key position or a key coach, and it just magically transform the team that lost to FIU and freaking Duke, Georgia Tech, LA Tech, you know. It's not night and day like that. It doesn't work that way. And I think that's where me and Slim really relate and we understand each other as Miami fans is, you know, I'm not a Miami fan sitting there saying we're 12-0 this year, but I think there'd be no excuse to lose more than 3 games.
That's reasonable enough. And I have to address something in the chat here because this is for some reason just piques my interest. Okay. This guy, Casey, you can see the comment on the screen here. It says, just to all of you guys that make vids, I hardly ever talk or comment on here. No complaining because I like all of your shows. Can we stop allowing this overgrown child on everyone's channel? Now, I don't know who he's talking about. I'm assuming he's talking about Slim because Slim doesn't make videos, right? Or do you make? I hope you do. I hope you don't because I feel bad if you do and I don't know it.
It's probably either me or Slim, to be honest.
I mean, and somebody in the chat said, who are you talking about? He said the baby gorilla. Now you have to be more specific because we all are baby gorillas around here. I'm assuming he's talking about. What'd you do to make this guy mad, Slim?
I don't know anybody named Casey, much less any Cleveland Indians fans, because I can't watch baseball unless I'm there.
Well, nobody's going to be a Cleveland Indian fan soon because they're going to change the name of that.
Yeah, I was going to say he better change his logo. He's going to offend some people.
The only time I was a Cleveland Indian fan was when Major League came out.
Oh, he's talking about Chess Hall. Oh, okay. Okay, I got you. Baby gorilla. That's not nice, sir.
You would have hurt my feelings if you were talking about me. I don't have any to hurt.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. I didn't know.
I'll say one thing. I'm going to jump off. I heard about you guys on the Mark Rogers show. I was watching y'all, and I really, really enjoyed it. It was just like a good vibe, good community, and I enjoyed it. So I jumped on here, and I just wanted to say I don't regret it. You guys are awesome, and I hit the bell. I hit the bell, man. I enjoy watching you guys, and I'll definitely be around.
Awesome, man. I appreciate you stopping in.
And good luck not only to Clemson, but hopefully, like I think we're all thinking, and I'm just as terrified because I don't know what I'll do with my life, but hopefully we have a college football season, man. That's one thing I do want.
Yeah,
we'll see.
I think we all agree with that. Thank you for stopping in, brother.
Thank you. Take care, Slim.
Yes, sir. You too.
So, Slim, as you're a huge Miami fan, I, in my alternate personality, love to pick at several teams, namely Georgia. It's just so much fun. So much fun picking at Georgia. I mean, they could recruit the greatest team of all time and still manage to piss it away. And I have a great Georgia
with a great player.
Yeah, they've done it a lot. They've done it a lot. But I like to pick at Miami. Miami's got so many good things about it. It just, when I think about the hill that Dabo, no pun intended, the hill that Dabo had to climb up so he can end up running down, I always think about though we have a football history, we don't have the history that Miami has. I mean, Miami has a who's who list of college football players.
Oh, absolutely.
And then to see how it's transpired, how things turned out, what do you blame it on? Because I always go to the athletic department, because somebody has to sign off on hiring, Pee Wee Herman to be their coach. Who do you blame it on? Is it a few people? Is it a combination of people? Who do you look at and say, you're the one who's messed us all up?
I think it's a combination of two things. Number one, the former president of the university, Donna E. Shalala. That fat cunt. She took as much money out of the football program as she could and thought it would be able to sustain.
Bad idea.
Yeah. The second problem, I think where it went wrong was honestly the players on that 01 squad when they went to her and said they wanted Larry Coker to be the head coach when Butch Davis left. I think Larry Coker was handed the keys to a Porsche and he ran it out of gas.
Hey, hold that thought. I want you to continue what you're saying, but as far as the money part of this goes, that's changed in the past, year or two, hasn't it? I mean, they just built to like a $40 or $50 million practice facility, right?
They did. The new president's a little looser with the pocketbook, and honestly, that's not something that held them back in the past. That's kind of been a recurring theme for Miami going back to the 50s. To be perfectly honest with you, They had the money. They're just cheap. I mean,
but facilities in today's football matter way more than they did 20 years ago, 30 years ago.
They do, and
you can see a direct correlation to when Clemson built that awesome facility to them winning.
It used to be a thing with recruiting, and Art Kehoe's done interviews talking about it. They would specifically try and avoid the facilities when they've had recruits in on trips because they were terrible. And they managed to get them anyway, somehow, for years. I don't know how. But like I said, going back to me, it goes back to Larry Coker. He was literally handed probably the greatest college football team of all time, won a national championship his first year ever as a head coach. Basically walked into a national title game the very next year. A lot of Miami fans blame Ohio State. To me, they should have blew Ohio State out, so it's their own fault for losing that game. They come in the next year. Brock Berlin's the quarterback. Ken Dorsey's gone. They tried running the exact same system, but Brock Berlin was not the same quarterback. And honestly, I think Larry Coker was just lazy. I think he got that way because he was handed such a great team that policed itself. I mean, Ed Reed and Ken Dorsey both have done interviews saying they ran the practices. So I think to an extent it made him and the coaching staff lazy. And, you know, it culminated in the 2006 season that got Larry Coker fired.
And it's been mediocre at best ever since then. Right.
Pretty much. I mean, 2006, let's see. 2005 was basically the year where their run kind of ended. Because a lot of people say that, you know, Miami hasn't been anything since 2001, as if winning a national championship is it. I mean, they made it to the national championship the next year. They made the Orange Bowl the year after that. They made another New Year's Six game in 2004. And then I think they played LSU in the Peach Bowl in 2005. It's still a very good bowl game. 2006 is kind of where it hit rock bottom. Because of the way 2005 ended, he fired basically the entire offensive coaching staff, rehired a bunch of people for 2006. It didn't work out. They fired him, hired Randy Shannon, and that's where Donna Shalala pulling as much money as she could away from the program really hurt him.
And Manny Diaz aside, because the jury's still out on him, and I think you agree with me on that.
Yeah.
But I joke a lot on my streams about Ed Reed being brought in there as the chancellor and the dictator and the king and all that, because it's fun to do that. But I still think it was a good idea to bring Ed Reed in there. Number one, for recruiting. That's probably the first and most important thing, is that he will be able to recruit or help out with the recruiting better than just about anybody in the program. And then also just to bring some of that attitude from that, that winning sort of mindset. Ed Reed's a winner. Ed Reed won at Miami. Ed Reed won at Baltimore. He doesn't know how to do anything but win. And so I think that he can probably instill that attitude probably in the coaching staff if they're not used to winning, and of course the players. So I think it was a good move bringing him on staff, and whatever title they gave him, chancellor or whatever the hell it is, that's completely irrelevant as to what it means just to have him in the building.
I completely agree. Because Ed Reed knows what it takes, or at least he should, because he was there. When Ed Reed came in, was basically when Miami was at its lowest point after they were put on probation for that Pell Grant scandal. They were stripped 31 scholarships, no TV, the whole 9 yards.
Mm-hmm.
So, I mean, you're talking 97, I think. And, I mean, they were terrible. But when he came in, they went from, getting beat by Florida State, I think it was 45-3 his freshman year, to, obviously winning a national championship his senior year. And I completely agree. I think you have to have somebody in there that is a winner and knows what it takes to win, because right now you have a coaching staff and a bunch of players that, take 2017, for example, when they finally did lose, they got way up there to 10-0, didn't know how to deal with it, lost, and didn't know how to recover from it. And I think Reed can bring, the knowledge of what to do in those situations.
Yeah. I mean, even then though, I mean, Mark Richt was a winner in college football. He never won the big prize, even at Georgia, but he won a hell of a lot of games.
Oh, he did. And I've told you before, I think they pulled the trigger too quick on him.
You mean as far as letting him go?
Yeah.
I thought he retired, or was that sort of a mutual deal?
It was one of the rumor was he was told to
either
get rid of his son and hire an offensive coordinator.
Oh yeah, right. Yeah, I remember that. Yeah.
and that was just rumors. I don't know if that was true, but okay. I mean, but it was pressure put. Blake James put that pressure on him because of the fan base. You know, a fan base was expecting a lot in 2018, and granted, I think he was too. Sometimes shit happens. The wheels off a season.
Vodka Drinker says now he's stuck at FIU. He's talking about Butch Davis.
Yeah, Butch Davis.
Yeah.
Well, a lot of Miami fans wanted him back too, but I don't think lightning's going to strike the same place twice.
Yeah, no. I was watching a documentary on Miami football when they made the turn, and that Ed Reed's freshman year, and he talked about getting absolutely stomped by Florida State. And after the ball game, he said that he and a few others, which you look back at that roster, man, it's still a who's who, you know. They went into the locker room and they looked at each other and went, "We're at Miami. We didn't come here to lose to Florida State like 45-0. We didn't. I mean, this is unacceptable." And I think that mentality and that attitude has to come back to Miami, because I've said it once, I've said it 100 times. Programs like Miami, Southern Cal, they're the types of programs that this run that you've seen Alabama have, where Alabama was nothing in the early 2000s. Yeah, they would have a season where they might go to the Orange Bowl, but they're nothing like they are right now and how they've been over the past 10 years. Those are the programs that once they get their crap in order, you're dealing with a 5 to 10 year run. And I've said that about Miami. And it's kind of like I said about LSU last year. Hey, you've had great players for a long time, but if you can get a great quarterback, you will absolutely demolish the college football world. You really could win a national championship. And what happens? Joe Burrow comes out, has probably one of the greatest seasons of all time. They win a national championship. That's the thing for Miami to me. Somebody who reinstills that attitude and a fantastic leader at quarterback, and you boys could be rolling again.
The most frustrating thing for Miami fans, if I were a Miami fan, I'm trying to put myself in their shoes here, would be that the division of the ACC that they're in, the Coastal Division, if they weren't such, in disarray over the past 15 years with the coaches and the athletic department, whatever Slim, was talking about earlier, as far as all the different reasons, they could have 5 ACC championships right now easily. And that's just the bottom of what they could have. They could have a lot more than that. But they don't. I mean, they don't have any. That's got to be the most frustrating part.
Yeah, it really is, considering when they finally did join a conference and they joined the Big East. And, I mean, say what you want about what it turned into. When they first joined the Big East, Virginia Tech was a dominant team. That's back when Syracuse was a dominant team.
Donovan McNabb.
Yes. Oh, yes. Michael Vick.
Virginia. I think Virginia Tech gets too much credit because that one season with Michael Vick, like literally, I mean, Virginia Tech's had some good seasons. Don't get me wrong, but everyone just points to that one season with Michael Vick and that's how Virginia Tech was for 20 years or something. I mean, they've had like 3 good seasons in the past 20 years. I mean, it's not really that impressive what they've done there, but I see what you're saying.
They've always had dominant defenses with Bud Foster.
Right. That's true. Yes.
So I will give them that. But I mean, you're absolutely right about them not winning the ACC at all, especially because, like I said earlier, when they joined the conference, they were the most talented team by far in that division, and they were still beating Florida State on a regular basis.
Yeah.
As a matter of fact, I think 2004 they beat Florida State in the Orange Bowl, or 2003, one of those years. 2003, 2004, they beat Florida State in the Orange Bowl, so they very well could have done it in the ACC title game too at that point. But to Bobby's point, I completely agree about the quarterback situation. And I said this to Peete a couple weeks ago, and it shows the problem. Miami at one time was considered quarterback U when they had that run with Kozar, Testaverde, Walsh, Gino Torretta, all them. They have not had a quarterback take a snap in a regular season NFL game since Brock Berlin.
HB West Music is in the house.
Man, there to you.
Blake West Music. We got a celebrity in here. For you guys who don't know, this guy's a really talented musician. I don't know where you can find his music. Blake West, do you have music on iTunes, buddy, or something, so the people can go check it out? Bobby Durkin's here, right down here below me on the screen. He is also a fellow musician, very talented one too.
I owe you $20 and a case of beer.
If you don't believe me how talented he is, just go watch last week's stream where he played the greatest Gamecock hits.
Mm-hmm.
What were those hits again? Let's Dookie Chicken.
Peck your Dookie Chicken. Yes.
Peck your Dookie Chicken.
Yeah, he's a Gamecock. And then today I called my buddy and I said, "Hey, remember those other 8 songs I gave you?" He was like, "Yeah." I said, "Could you send them over to me?" So I have enough music to get me banned from Columbia, South Carolina, for the rest of my life.
Yeah. I welcome getting banned from Columbia, South Carolina. I actually wish it would happen.
I'm on a voluntary boycott.
Yeah. It's a good thing because I have to drive through Columbia anytime I go out of town. When I'm going to Virginia, I got in-laws in Virginia. But anytime we go, that direction, if we're not going to Florida, we're going that direction. We have to be in Interstate 26 where I live, goes through Columbia, and then whatever interstate after that to get where I'm going, I have to get off of that. But it's almost impossible to avoid Columbia. So, but the good thing is I'm only about an hour and 15 minutes from Columbia, so I don't have to worry about having to stop there for gas or anything. Because if you've ever stopped in Columbia for gas, they still have. They don't have digital gas pumps there yet. I mean, they're about 50 years behind. They still have those little things that turn over and click, and you can't prepay at the pump. You have to go inside to talk to the guy. It's a shithole.
That sounds like that trailer park in Florida called Gainesville.
Yeah.
I drove through there last week, and I still can't get the taste out of my mouth.
Seriously, I had to take a friend a couple of years ago to the DMV in Columbia. That's like the main DMV up there is in Columbia. And for some reason, whatever he had to do, he had to go to that branch to do it. So I took him up there. I drove him up there. And the DMV is like a stone's throw from the stadium, if you guys don't know this. So the funny thing is we're standing out there. We leave early in the morning and we get up there and there's a line around the corner to get into the DMV. Like you've ever been to the DMV in South Carolina, that's how they all are. And so we're standing in line at the DMV at like 7:00 in the morning, a line wrapped around the corner and the stadium's right there. And I'm like, yep, the line to get into the DMV is a longer line than any South Carolina game is on game day.
I tell you, man, I've talked about it 100 times. I've never been to Williams-Brice Stadium until this past year, and I walked away going, God, that's a scary place. I mean, I wouldn't want to be outside of that joint. If it's kind of getting dusky dark, I just have to bring my whistle to blow it just in case something stupid starts happening. I mean, it was just, man. Anyway, I could rant about that for a good 45 minutes, but
I actually think that the stadium itself isn't bad. I'll give them credit there, but the location of it is terrible. I mean,
awful.
It's it's literally between the DMV and the fairgrounds. If you look out of the stadium view, there's nothing picturesque. Like you look out at Clemson's Death Valley, you got mountains and lakes and beautiful buildings right there on campus. You look out South Carolina, you see a bunch of people eating fried Snickers bars and people waiting to get their sticker for their tag at the DMV.
Two cats fighting over a dead rat.
Yeah.
That sounds like the Liberty Bowl in Memphis.
It's about
because
like
the Liberty Bowl is on the fairgrounds.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
Don't ask me which genius had that bright idea.
Oh my God.
I'd actually go to the Liberty Bowl, just because I want to go to Memphis and I want to go to Nashville too. Two places I've never been before. So
Nashville's fantastic. Love Nashville.
I've heard great things about Nashville. And I've also heard good things from my father-in-law about Memphis, as far as the the food and the nightlife or whatever. But
yeah, that stuff's good, but I would suggest not going.
Oh, really? You say, but
I hate it.
How about Nashville though? You like Nashville?
Yeah, I like Nashville more than I do Memphis. Memphis has got a running battle going with Chicago over who can shoot the most people. So
oh,
I try to avoid
but what about like I'm sure there's like an area, a tourist area, like with the blues clubs and everything. That's cool, right?
Well, yeah, like everybody goes to Beale Street. They were shooting people on Beale Street.
Oh,
yeah. Cops too were getting shot on Beale Street.
Well, Memphis should not hire you as their tourist director because you're sending people miles away.
I mean, they turned the pyramid into like a huge Bass Pro Shop, and that's kind of cool. They built the FedEx Forum for the Memphis Grizzlies, and nobody goes.
And nobody goes.
They don't. Well, the Grizzlies are terrible. I mean, when they had their few playoff runs, they had some people go, but outside of that, it's like going to a Miami Hurricanes football game when they're bad.
It's kind of a dumb name anyway. There's no Grizzly Bears in Memphis, is there? Or maybe there is. Hell, I don't know. I don't think there is.
Last time I checked, no.
I'm pretty sure the Grizzly Bears are all Northwest.
They're a transfer from Vancouver, so.
Yeah. Oh, that's why. There's definitely Grizzly Bears in Vancouver. That's probably why. Yeah.
And again, California's got a grizzly bear on its flag. They ain't got no grizzly bears either.
That's because they ran them all out of there. They used to have them. Yeah, they hunted them all, got them out of there. Anyway, guys, it's been an hour. It's time to go. I don't know. I hope everybody enjoyed this format. Slim, thank you for stopping and hanging out and providing.
Hey, I appreciate y'all letting me on here.
Yeah, we might do this. I don't know if we'll do this. We'll do this every week or periodically, but that's the one good thing about this StreamYard deal is we can have people come on if we want.
I've never done it, so I'm glad I was able to figure it out.
Yeah. If I can figure it out, I'm basically a chimpanzee with a microphone. So.
Well, hey, I don't have the microphone, so that puts you.
Yeah, right. We're both chimpanzees, though. That's all we know. All right, all right, Slim. Well, it's good to see you, brother, and hopefully I'll see you. I'll be on tomorrow night, and of course, hopefully I'll see you there.
We'll see. Like I said, it all depends on this or that. You know
how
it goes.
Be careful out there, brother.
Take care, dude.
Yes, sir. I appreciate y'all.
All right, man. Well, Bobby, another successful stream. Episode 5 of College Football Talk with Pete and Bobby is in the books.
Whole hand's worth.
Anything you want to add to this before I get off?
I tell you this, man. If you'd have told me the night of New Year's Eve that you and I would be sitting in the middle of July talking about possibly not having college football or something being modified,
mm-hmm.
I'd have punched you in the face. And I think the world of you.
I would have allowed you to punch me in the face.
And that we're actually here, we're actually having to talk about a modified season is annoying. But there's one bright spot in this entire bowl of doo-doo. And that is the possibility that we could still have the game and that we all love the game. And it tells you how much it actually impacts us, how much we look forward to it, how much you just saw a Miami fan, you heard a Georgia fan. We're all sitting here trying to figure out, will we have our season? And that's what I like about what we do. We all get together. We might even hate each other's guts in the fan base sense, but we all love the same thing, and I love that about the show that we're doing. So I'm glad everybody's coming on. I'm
going to be honest with you. Just even the thought of not having football in the fall makes me sick to my stomach. Mm-hmm. I mean, it's like saying you can't have turkey at Thanksgiving, or I don't know. It's just it's part of the season that I look forward to, and I look forward to the great weather in the fall. I look forward to the holiday season. I look forward to football. That's without one of those things, it's not the same. So anyway, it's I hate that we have to spend all this time talking about these terrible scenarios too, but it is what it is. I mean, yeah.
Well, hopefully something will give. And that's all we can hope for is that something will give. Look, here's the deal, and I'll say this, and I'll shut up because I have pizza downstairs, and I know you probably have some stuff going on too. Here's the deal: there ain't one person, I believe it's on this chat or definitely on screen right now, who would ever want to put players at risk.
No.
For my entertainment. Never, ever, ever. With that said, I question how things are being handled in the country with this deal. And I question if any of it's truly, truly working. And that's a sore subject. But forget football. I question it. Bring football back into it. I just hope we get to play and everybody's safe.
Amen. I think we can all get down with that sentiment.
Yeah, boy.
All right, guys. We will see you next week. Thank you, everybody who stopped in, and thank you for everybody who donated. I think I got a super chat earlier from DeAndre Crawford, our boy.
Our boy.
So I'll see you guys tomorrow night at 10 p.m. for the infamous call-in show. See you guys later. We'll see you next week.
See ya.